Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, today we're going to create a floral card. We're using a beautiful peony. This is from Alex Syberia Designs. It's part of their Lush Florals collection. It's so pretty. It has a foil plate, which can also be used as a better press, but isn't that image gorgeous? And then it has a stencil. The stencil is unique because it leaves some white edges. It's kind of like a it doesn't color in the full peony. It leaves those white areas. I just thought that was gorgeous. So we're going to be using the stencil to color in our foiled image, and then I'm also going to be using Essential Sentiments hot foil plate. It's a press plate and die set, so you can foil with it. So we're going to be using this also. Love the sentiments in here. I love the font. For my card today, it's not going to be a 5-step card, but I am going to add layers. So we're going to do 2 panels with this beautiful floral and do a little bit of fussy cutting. I'm going to be doing some foiling with some pewter foil. This is Spellbinders. I've had this for a while. I don't even know if Spellbinders still has this foil or not, but I just love the color. It's like a brown, like a silvery brown, and I think that's going to go really good with the cardstock that we're going to use today. I'm bringing in some Spellbinders chiffon cardstock, and one panel measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then one panel is just a regular A2. I have my whole foil machine over here heating, and we're going to go ahead and open this up and do some foiling and coloring on the chiffon cardstock. So let's take this out. I haven't foiled in a very long time, so I'm super excited about this. Okay, I'm going to put my press plate on here. We'll trim down a piece of the pewter foil. Actually, 2 pieces. We'll give that a minute to heat up. And we're just going to put the foil face down. And then I'm going to start off with the A2 panel first. And we'll give that a minute to heat up. While we're at it, we're going to foil our greetings too. I'm going to use the same color of cardstock. So we'll take these out of the package. Okay, my light stopped flashing, so I'm going to bring in my plates. And I'm going to run this through my Platinum 6 and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to do it one more time. We'll just put the foil on here. Now this panel again is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to center it here. And I'm going to run this through. I'll be right back. Okay, so we have both of those panels. Hopefully I got that one centered. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And then we're going to heat up our sentiments here. We'll let that heat up. In the meantime, are you ready to take a look? Well, that's just a stunner. Look how pretty this is. I better set my timer. Okay, now actually, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to trim this one down. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Okay, I'm going to trim this down a little bit. Let's trim a 1/4 inch off, and then about 1/8 of an inch off the top. I'll flip it around and take about 1/8 of an inch off the bottom. Okay, and then this one is a lot more centered than this one. Okay, but we can still use them both. So they're both the same size, 4 inches by 5 1/4. Okay, let me go ahead and put my foil on this and my cardstock. There we go. And it stopped flashing, so I'm going to run this through my Platinum 6 also. Okay, let's see how this did. Well, this, I haven't foiled in a while, but I forgot how beautiful the foil is. And that's good to go. Okay, I'm going to turn off my machine, put this to the side, and then we are going to color in our florals. Let's go ahead and take our stencil. Oh, it's nice on the package. There's a guide, which is really helpful. How pretty is that? Okay, I'm going to bring in my grip mat. And then I have some inks that we're going to use today. These are Simon Says Stamps Positively Saturated inks. The colors you'll need is a teal, a pink, an orange, and a brown. I have cappuccino, salmon, guava, and mist. I think that's a great color palette. Okay, we're going to take, are these indexed? These stencils, there's 3 stencils here. I like the weight of the stencils. It's very heavy duty. I've never used Alex Syberia stencils before, and it's very nice weight. They are indexed on the bottom left corner, 1, 2, and 3. So we'll start with stencil 1. For my base flowers, I'm going to use my salmon ink. Okay, we're just going to add a little bit of color here. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Okay, that's stencil 1. This is stencil 2 lined up, and for 2, we're going to use mist, a teal ink for the leaves. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of brown on the edges. I'm going to bring in my cappuccino, and then I'm going to use a smaller blending brush. For this, we're going to go heavy over the flower centers here. Okay, and then I'm going to add some dark areas to the leaves. To do that, all I'm going to do is go in a circular motion at the base and kind of pull up a little bit. This is actually going to give this flower a real pretty vintage look, or a vintage vibe, just adding a little bit of brown. I think you guys are going to really love this color palette. Let's remove stencil 2. Beautiful. And then I'm going to add my 3rd layer. Okay, we'll just tack this down. 3rd layer is where I'm going to bring in my pink, my guava ink. And we're going to go ahead and add the 3rd layer right over the top here. And all we have to do is take a look. And I just think this is gorgeous. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? So pretty. Now I'm going to do the same exact thing to this next panel. Now both panels are all done. This one is a little bit darker, but no worries, because we're going to be fussy cutting the flowers out of this. Just the flowers. Okay? So I'll do that, and then I'll also take the coordinating die to my essential sentiments. I like that it's just one die. One shot through the machine, and you have a whole bunch of sentiments. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine and fussy cut these out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I die cut out my greetings, and I fussy cut out my florals. Now, if you wanted to fussy cut out some of these florals and put them on the inside of the card, I think that's an option too, because these are awful pretty foiled. So look how pretty that would be on the inside of the card. Okay, but what I'm going to do next is take this panel, and I'm going to add this to the front of an A2 size card base. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in a corner rounder, and I'm going to round the corners. And you know, I think I'm going to round the corners on my card base too. I'm going to add some adhesive. Actually, okay, before I add this to the front of my card base, I think I'm going to add some twine. I have, since this kind of looks a little bit vintage, I'm going to bring in some of my natural twine. And I'm going to wrap it around the lower portion here a couple of times. gonna add a little extra texture. So 3 times, that's what the back looks like. And then I'm gonna layer this on the front of my card base. There we go. And then I can tie a bow with my twine over here. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to take my flowers. Now I do want to mention my fussy cutting is not the greatest. Some areas I cut off the foil, but I did try to go to the line as much as I could. But the areas where I did cut off the foil, I'm not worried about because we're going to overlap them on the existing florals here. So the areas where I cut off, the backside of my panel is going to pick it up. Now to add a little dimension, I'm going to bring in some foam squares. I'm going to figure out my placement here, and then I'll put a foam square at the top, and then I'm going to add a little glue at the bottom. And then we're going to layer them here. This one's going to go over the twine. See how it's flat here and it picks up? It really does look pretty on the card. Okay, and I'm doing that because the flowers are connected. For example, this flower is connected here, and then this flower is connected here. So if you glue them in that section, it still looks like it has a lot of dimension. It flows better that way. And then we'll put a foam square at the top. Okay, and again, this is where this is connected. That's where the glue is. We're just going to go ahead and tack that down. I'm only putting 1 foam square, but you could very well get away with 2. You see how it just kind of flows? Really beautiful. And then we'll add a little glue here at the bottom. And we'll add another foam square here. So I might need to hold this down a little bit longer because this one is going over the twine. Okay, before we add our greeting, I think I'm going to add some white splatters. I'm going to add a little bit of my acrylic paint here. The one that I'm using is from Hero Arts. I don't think they have this anymore, but it's called white acrylic speckle. And just going to pick up some with my paintbrush, and I'm going to do some splattering. Add some brightness, and I think white splatter does that. I know Simon has a great white splatter. Spellbinders has a splatter white. So there's lots of options as far as splatter goes. But I'll list those down below as well in case the Hero Arts is not available. Okay, I'm going to give this a second to air dry. In the meantime, today we're making a thank you card. So I'm going to put the rest of these greetings aside. I'm going to go ahead and add my greeting here. Just right next to that bow, I think is a great spot. And then we're going to bring in a little sparkle using some Spellbinders gems. I thought gold would go really pretty with this since it kind of looks antique-ish. So I have my Spellbinders Color Essential gems in the gold mix. And we're going to add a few gems here. And then that will finish off my card project for today. A really pretty thank you card. It took no time at all, using some new items from Alex Syberia Designs from their Lush Florals collection. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check it out. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.